Welcome to Lesson 10 Tutorials. Today we'll be covering part 2 of the Unix shell. And in the last part, we covered some basic functions, and today we will be learning a few more. Um, let's divide our screen into two parts. On the right, I will have my browser open, and here we are back into the terminal. So in the last video, I missed upon a few commands, so I want to cover them first. So the first one is a man command. So man basically is a command for manual. So you can use it in combination with another command, which is, say I want to know the manual for ls. So when you give man ls, so it will show the manual, user manual for ls. So it will show up, and you can see it lists out all the option that you have, like dash a, and then a few of these options we discussed last time. And you can use the space bar to navigate down, and you can see all the options that are available. Another useful command in the history command. So history command basically lists out all the history of the commands that you have executed. So in this case, if I give a history command, so it will show up. You see all these previous commands that we typed in into this terminal. And this is very useful in case you want to remember what you typed in, or which a command that you used for copying or pasting something. So it's pretty handy. Okay, so I'll clear the screen with a clear command, or Control L is the same thing. So let's get back to our web page where we have the list and cover them one by one. So we have the echo command. Echo command is to display a text. It can be a variable, it can be a string. So for example, if I do an echo I am Choco, it will just display whatever you write after the echo command. Echo can also be used to display variables that are used. Echo echo, like you remember, we used a variable called $0. This is a system variable, and it contains the shell information, and it shows in the shell. There are other system variables that you can use to echo. So echo, say, $path. So this is the system variable, environment variable for path, and it shows that these paths are included in your system path. There are other system variables like $user, and it contains the current user information. So one thing that you realize when we use a variable, system variable start with the $sign, there is no space, and then in caps you have the variable name. There are other variables like, for example, $os type. That tells you what kind of OS this is. So echo can be used in a combination of ways, either to echo a string or the information about a variable that is there for this terminal session. And the cat command, this we covered last time. It is used to cat an output, say cat, and I have, say, a lot of files here. Say I want to go over the .bash rc. So this is a file. So let me check whether this is a file or not. So cat.bash rc. So what it will do is it will display the contents of this file. So you see, this is the contents of the file. So let me go back into the folder that we were using last time, which was the users folder, and inside that, so I'll do a user cd users, and inside that there was this Choco directory or folder. I'm inside Choco. Let's do a ls-l. So I have these nuggets, and for our convenience, what I'll do is I'll just make a copy of nuggets to a pizza like we had. Oh, sorry, my mistake. So it should be cp nuggets ls-l. So I'll do a cp of nuggets. I'll make a pizza, and because this is a directory, I'll do an R option. So ls-l. Now I should have a pizza directory. So I can do a tree and check how my file structure looks like. So this is my structure. So I have a nugget cookie, and then inside the pizza, this is identical to the nugget directory. So what I want to do is now I want to uh, see some more commands. So the head and the tail, these two basically are similar to cat, but it will display only the first or the last few lines of a file. Say, for example, if I do a head of my second file, my second file. So it will just show the first few lines of that file. Now, because our file is very small, that's why you don't see the difference. But if my file is large enough, then this makes a lot of difference. So to demonstrate this more, so let's create another file. So I will do a touch and my big file. I'll just use big file .txt, and then I have this file, my big file. So I'll open it in nano editor, my big file. What I will do is I will write in a lot of text into this file. So how do I do that? So let's go back to Wikipedia, and then this is the uh, show files folder. I'll just copy this text in, copy, and then in order to paste in putty terminal, you just do right click, and what it will do is it will paste everything that is there in this. Okay, I'll do a control O and then control X. What it did was it copied everything from one file to and put it inside. So if I do a head of my big file, so it will display the first few lines of that file. Because these are all single lines, because a line is denoted by a carriage return. So there is no new line after this. So that's why it is showing up as one big file. Okay, let's create another big file. So I'll do a touch and list. So this is a new file that I'm creating, and I'll open it in a nano editor. And then what I'll do is I'll just list out all the commands that are here and copy them inside into that file. So now you see you have all the commands. This is just simply some text I have pulled in. And I want to save it. So all of these are separate lines. So we should be able to demonstrate how the head and tail works. So now what I will do is head and then command list. So it will show you the head of that file. And you can control how many lines you can type in. Say if you do a head dash 5, so it will just show the first 5 lines of that file. In the same way, if you do a tail 5 dash 5 and then command, it will just show the last few lines of that file. So head and tail can be very useful when you are dealing with very large files and you are not able to cat that entire file because it will fill up your screen and fill up the terminal buffer. So that is very useful. Let's look at more. More is basically a file viewer. So cat, on the other hand, it just spits out what is the contents of the file into your standard output, which is the terminal. Head spits out only the first few lines, and tail spits out the last few lines. However, more is more like a generic viewer. It is used to view the contents of a file. So let's look at more commands. So if I do a more and then type in my file name, which is command list, what it will allow me is to navigate through the file. So this is not a large file. So let's look at a large file. So I have a large file somewhere here. Let's go to downloads. Okay. So I have a large file here. If I do ls-l, so I can see ls.lh. So I can see there is a huge file here, which is in over 1 MB. So this is a long file, and I think this is also a large file. So let's look at this 2400.txt. So if I cat this file 2400.txt, it will fill in my entire screen. I couldn't read anything. If I do a head of this 2400.txt, oh, I can see, oh, this is a Gutenberg project file, and it's a novel actually. If I do a tail, that's 52400.txt, it displays the tail of this file. So now let's try more.